Hello everyone, it's Danielle here for Clair Designs. I'm back with another card project where I'm using stamps from the Prized Life stamp set. It's one of the 6 stamp sets from Clair's new August release. All of the stamp sets are available, so be sure that you visit joyclair.com. With today's project, I'm showing Simple Copic Coloring, so stay tuned. The materials I need for this card project are a card base, which is a standard A2 size landscape with a top fold. I'll need a piece of black cardstock, which will be the card panel directly on the card base, and that'll leave about 1/4 inch border inward on all sides. I'll need a piece of white cardstock, which will be the top panel, and it has the card design, and it leaves about 1/8 inch border inward on all sides from the black card panel. With digital stamps, you should know that there are so many options in creating a card design. You can resize, you can flip, adjust, duplicate, and so much more. In my card design today, I chose to add them on one layer using 3 different images from the set, which are the flowers, the vines, and the sentiment. Since I'm using digital stamps, you use the software to achieve the masking technique in your print. It's a similar concept in that you start with your main focal image and stamp that first. You mask it and apply additional images to give that layered look. For digital stamps, it's a matter of adjusting the order of your stamp images on your card panel. So as you can see, I also need a set of markers to color my images, and what I'm using today are Copic markers. My approach to coloring the flowers is going to be pretty straightforward. I have a set of 3 markers for the petals. I'm using 2 markers for the middle of the flower, and I'm using 2 for the vines. On the flower petals, I'm going to start at the innermost part of the petal, at the base, using my darkest tone. I've used the mid-tone color to blend the darkest color, pulling the color across the petal. So with the mid-tone, I just um, lightly go over the darkest tone and I pull that color across the petal. And then I finish with the lightest shade at the tip of the petal, and I blend a little more for a shaded look. So I use my darkest tone first, I followed by my mid-tone, and then I finish with the lightest tone. And I'm going to repeat that process with all of the flowers. The colors I chose for the flowers for this card project are yellows. All are in the same color family, and so that'll help with the shading and the intensity of the color. And because of the flower's design, the art itself, it has the those little lines to for it gives the, what am I trying to say? It gives the shaded look with the way the flower is designed. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you could easily achieve the shaded look or the same results by using 2 markers or even 1, if I'm honest, if you go over it, a second time. So while I hope that my card project inspires you, in the end, it's all art. And so you have to do what works for you and your creative vision, right? So as you can see now, I am coloring the middle of the flower. I'm using 2 colors there. Actually, I only use 1. Yeah, I use the Y11. So that's pretty simple in itself. And again, the way the card or the flower is designed, it kind of already has that shaded element. So if you use more than 1 color to achieve shading or additional shading, that's fine. If you use the 1 tone, or 1 color, it's fine as well. I think you can achieve similar results. So as you notice that in the middle of the flower, I only use the 1, and it still has a little shading to it. For the vines, I did use 2 colors. I popped them up on the screen for you. And now I'm just following through with the rest of the flowers using the same process. For the petals, again, I start with my darkest tone. I move to the mid-tone and then the lightest tone. For the vines, I'm using the 2 colors, and for the middle of the flower, I just use the 1. So uh, yeah, sorry about that. So I'll just go ahead and let you watch my coloring. I did fast forward a little more or a little faster. And I'll trim some of it down so you don't have to watch so much of the coloring because it is the same process. And I didn't want this video to be too long. So take a look, enjoy the music. If you want to fast forward, I'll pop that up for you now where you can go. So I'm back and I'm now adhering my top panel to the black card panel. And again, that leaves about 1/8 of an inch border on all sides. I then adhere adhesive to my black card panel to adhere that to the base. And I'm actually using foam tape. I was a little hesitant there because initially I thought I used my ATG gun, but no, I use foam tape, and that's to add dimension. So it raises that card panel up a little bit and just adds to the element of the overall look of the card, gives it dimension. So you're watching me apply that adhesive there. That tape is double-sided foam tape, and I got that from scrapbook.com. I'll have all of the details in the description of the YouTube in the YouTube description, so you can take a look there. Okay, so now I'm applying the card panel to the card base. Of course, I'm adding my shine. I'm using my Wink of Stella clear brush there. And right now I'm showing you that I'm applying it to only the middle of the flower. And I think I stay with that concept. We'll see in a few seconds, right? In my last card design, I put it on the whole entire flower, but I think I just chose to put it in the middle. And see, no, I didn't. I went a little further because I just love adding the Wink of Stella. I go through these pens like crazy. So I'm actually putting it in the crease of the petals. So I didn't apply it to the entire petal. I applied it to the middle of the flower, and now I'm applying it to the base of it. I always follow. Usually when I have some shine, I have, or shimmer, I should say, I have a little shine. So I add my glossy accents, and I'm adding that to the vines, to those leaves there. And then I think that finishes off the card. So it's pretty simple design, right? With digital stamps, it's all in the software. I guess the design is all in the software. You just move around your images the way you like, and then color, right? I think I'm going to have another design element that I think you really like in the next video. I'm going to be using the same set. I have another creation that I think I'm going to go with, and I think you'll really like it. So, nevertheless, here's the finished product. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and you like the card. And if you get some inspiration from it, there you go. Right now I'm just cleaning up, doing a little cleanup. I probably have a little bit of smudges there, so I'm just taking my little eraser there and just sanding it off. Oh, of course. I'm adding more embellishments to the top of the card. I'm going to apply some Nouveau drops, some enamel drops there. And I'm so proud of myself because I only use 3 drops. It's so difficult for me, or I shouldn't say difficult. It's always a challenge for me to find placement for these drops. And sometimes I just keep going and going and going, and then it's like so many drops, and it kind of, I don't know, it does something to the card. But for this one, I think I had perfect placement. There's only three to balance out, the card design, and I called it quits, and I just stayed with it. So now you're looking at the finished product. So if you like this video, please consider hitting that like button. Be sure to visit joyclair.com. And before you leave, why don't you go ahead and leave a comment and subscribe. I'm going to show you a few more images of the card. And thanks again for watching. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.